evening. Shimek here. We are going to be talking today about what in the world? Why am I getting those? Getting a lot of extra noises I shouldn't be getting right now. Alright, we're going to be talking about OEI and AEO. So AEO is an acronym for All Engines Operative. Now, the BK-117D2 is a dual engine aircraft, so all engine operative means both engines operative. So on the left side of the vehicle management system is your number 1 or your left hand engine. The right side is the number 2 or your right hand engine. And then right here, the main gearbox is connected to both engines. Of course, the hydraulics is connected to the main gearbox, so that's not really, you have a system 1 and system 2, but system 1 has nothing to do with engine 1, system 2 has nothing to do with engine 2, same thing with the main gearbox. If either of the engines stops working, we go into OEI, one engine inoperative. Now on a dual aircraft, one engine inoperative is really one engine operative. They're the same thing. But Airbus decided to define it as one engine inoperative. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and pick up here. Now I am in AEO, all engines operative. Alright, so the first thing we're going to see come into view here is my blue line. And I'm looking for that blue, there it is. It is all the way there at the bottom of the AEO takeoff power. So AEO top, and let me slow down so we can see that. There we go. It is that yellow box that turns into a yellow bar when my collective position enters that range. We got 30 minutes in that limit, and it is also dependent on airspeed. So AEO top has its largest value at VY and below. Between VY and VY plus 20, it slowly starts to disappear. So if I speed up, as soon as I pass through VY, there we go, we'll notice it starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller until we get to VY plus 20. It will disappear. Boom, VY plus 20. Alright, so the blue line right here is your OEI max power. So that blue line tells you where you'll be OEI in the 30-second limit. Alright, so that we can see what those are, we're going to go ahead and stabilize our speed here, and we're going to kill one engine. Right there we show OEI, one engine inoperative. We also notice that the symbology over here is going to update on the VMS. Alright, so the yellow dotted line is going to be our OEI 2-minute, the bottom end of our OEI 2-minute limit. The red dotted line is going to be the top end of our OEI 2-minute limit. Between the red dotted line and the red solid line is our 30-second OEI limit. So we'll notice if I start pulling power here, our torque comes up. And we start coming into that limit right there. So now we're going to enter our OEI 2-minute limit. This is letting us know that the first limit that we are projected to reach at this point is torque. Pull back into it here. And that our first limit indication is based on torque. Our torque is in the 2-minute OEI limit. If I continue to pull power, I'm going to go past the 2-minute limit and I will enter the 30-second limit. Now this is letting me know that based on N1, I am in the OEI 30-second limit. Torque is still in the 2-minute limit, so torque is no longer my first limit indication. Now, this right here, N1, is my first limit that I'm going to reach. I am in the 30-second N1 range, and this timer is ticking away, letting me know that I'm about to run out of that 30 seconds. And there, I used it all up. I used up my 30 seconds, and this is cumulative. So if I use 10 seconds and then come out of it, there we go, and then come back in it, I only have 20 seconds left. If I use 20 seconds inside of this range, I still have 2 minutes in this range, because realistically I have 2 minutes and 30 seconds in this range, because I can use 30 seconds up in this range and still have 2 minutes in this range. But we'll notice if I come out of this and I go back into it, my timer doesn't start back at 0. This is for the life of the engine. Alright, so I'm going to come right over here to maintenance. I'm going to do all maintenance actions. I'll have to ask on that, because it definitely does not do it. So, if I were to pull, so right here I have OEI high. That lets me know that my topping is at the top of the 30-second limit. If I pull up above the top of that 30-second limit, so I hit it and I keep pulling, my rotor is going to droop, because at the top of that 30-second limit, that engine is concerned with protecting itself. It has given you every bit of power that it could possibly give right there. And it is not going to give you a drop more. So if I continue to pull past that limit right there, then my rotor is going to start to come down, because my engine cannot possibly give me any more power. And right there it starts to droop. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch my OEI high-low. So right now I'm in OEI high. I'm going to switch to OEI low. Now, if I will notice here, this triangle is at the top of my 2-minute limit. The triangle right here points to the red dotted line, letting me know that the engine is going to restrict itself from going past this point. So if I pull and I hit that, then it is absolutely not going to let me go beyond that 2-minute limit. And if I attempt to, all I'm going to do is droop the rotor system. Just like that. And the purpose of this is so that if I know that if I know that 2-minute power is sufficient and I want to keep from using that 30-second limit, then I can top it down to the 2-minute limit to avoid it would be physically impossible for me to use any of that 30-second limit. Which right here, this is kind of showing me, and this is showing me that I'm actually using the 30-second limit. So that's a bit of a bug there too on the system. That should not work like that. I should only be able to use my 2-minute limit. Alright, so if I come engine back online, and I'm back in AEO, I'm going to wait for my torques to settle out here. First we'll start out below the blue line, and I'll make sure I'm topped OEI high. If I lose an engine and I was below that blue line, then I'm guaranteed to be below my limits. If I am above that blue line, and I lose an engine, then it means that I am above my limits. Now, I'll have to double check with some of my pilots. It was my understanding that that blue line represents the top of the 30-second limit. So that may be just a little bit off. I'm not entirely sure. I've got to do some research and find out if that blue line represents the top of the 30-second range or the bottom. Right now, it's showing the blue line as being the bottom of the 2-minute range. So that if I'm below that blue line and I lose an engine, I never have to make any adjustment whatsoever. And my understanding was that if I was below that blue line, that simply meant that if I lost an engine, I had a minimum of 30 seconds to respond. Of course, none of that does any good if you lose both engines.